It's 222 and we're going live. Okay. Amazing. Thank you so much for being here once again. It is Uncle Makara, all relations. Let's get started today with our masterclass. Today I'm speaking primarily on how to transcend social patterns. And this is really from my own exploration into my character development in my life. Right now, I felt like a bit of a social hermit, kind of staying at home most of the time. And I don't know how you guys feel about it, okay? But I challenge each and every man and woman to start to want to go out, want to socialize again, if they haven't been, okay? Because it's really important that we put ourselves through transformation. A social venue is the greatest echo chamber or dojo for your transformation, okay? Because you're putting yourself into the fire. You're putting yourself into a place where you can let your ego crumble. You see what I'm saying? And through that ego death, through you maybe working through some things internally, you're going to figure out ways to really transcend this and like take it on a whole nother level, okay? Whole nother level. So what we're doing right now is, man, hold on one second. I need to have my beats. It's important. It reminds me, these beats remind me that I'm a spiritual being first and a human being later. Okay. All right. So let's get started. I got very inspired by the anime Jujutsu Kaisen. I don't know if you guys know that anime. And particularly what I noticed is the fascination, especially like women are very interested in this character of either Gojo or Sukuna, right? And that understanding, almost like a strange light in the dark, right? I would say after doing a little bit of research, and of course I had Ryan G help me, he's much familiar with the kind of anime tech than I am. I noticed that this guy was like the strongest character, but also I noticed that Gojo was like this goofball because he had so much time, so much freedom. It also made him incredibly unrelatable, and it made him lonely, you know? And so exploring this from the beginning, I started to understand, like, wait a second, this anime is very reflective of how I feel, you know? I feel like my tech is beyond my years and time. I feel like I'm ahead of my age. I feel like my loneliness is the cause of my own mental, constructs that I cause for myself. So now I'm breaking and transcending an old spiritual and social pattern, you could say. Thank you for the thumbs up. Appreciate it. I want you to really reflect on this type of character work, right? Because now that Apex April is wrapping up, we're at day 27 now. We have a new theme emerging beyond the space and time continuum. We have a very powerful thematic understanding of this, which is very primary understanding, okay? And it's very simple, okay? It's very simple, but it's difficult to apply. So I've come across this book quite recently, okay? It's called The Domination Principle. And this book primarily is a book on seduction, book on picking up women and so forth. And I've read it and I like to listen to it as an audiobook. You can find it online. And basically, I want you to start to understand that this book, okay? Woo, just knocked over my a ruler. Hold on. Metallic ruler. You know what happens with metallic rulers, okay? So, hold on one second. Just gonna move some stuff around. Okay. All right. So let's talk about this topic in this book. So I think Mike Haynes or Mark Haynes, Mark Hines, something like that. His name is. Anyway, so he wrote this book, and I think it's very, very powerful overall. Like as a book, it really takes you into the understandings and rewiring and the concepts of society and the social conditioning, you know. And I started to reflect on this book, and I started to think, man, it's so true. Like even within me, I noticed some of these qualities, and so I want to release them. And talking about them right now is going to help me release them. But not only that, I'm also understanding the next level up, right, with this. So I'm being introduced to this as a new technology, and I'm looking at it through my fresh pair of eyes as a flow state specialist. Okay. So I'm going to try to zoom in on certain aspects, understand that the overall purpose, my intention for it at least, is to establish this ethereal Gojo RIZZ, which is when I walk out into an environment, I want to be able to carry that level of that aura or impact, right? I want women to simp over me, okay? That's just something that I naturally want to exude, okay? So this is probably a deep, deep desire that I have to still reflect on, okay? But I want to understand and lean into it and encourage it to do what it needs to do to fulfill my fantasy and my reality. You see, a lot of us, we live in a fantasy world, but we can't materialize it into our reality. And that's where we get kinks, fetishes, weird things in our minds, you know, ideas, cravings, lust, like all this kind of stuff, right? But instead, if you look at this book, and I'm going to go through my notes here, guys. If you have the book with you, open it, two different pages. I'm going to definitely order it online as well, and get a physical copy so I can look through it further. But I've been just going through maybe a first few chapters, okay? And so these are my notes from the first few chapters. And I'm an audio visual learner, so I learn much more. I'm a clairaudient, so I can hear things that other people can't, I guess you could say, or I'm tapping into an extra sense of hearing. So I love to listen to audiobooks. I let them actually play into my subconscious mind. And as they play into my subconscious mind, when I'm in a very relaxed or trance-like state and I'm listening to audiobooks, they naturally fill my brain, you know, and I'm able to relate to them in a very powerful way. So I highly recommend for your own guidance that you do the same. When you're feeling a little bit tired or sleepy, just put on an audiobook, you know. I learned this from my throat is a bit itchy. I learned this from my roommate, actually. His name was Matt Kirby in college times, okay? And Matt used to play these Harry Potter, like, read-alouds, like an audiobook version. So I would walk into the room, it would be like pitch black, and I'd hear like, and then Hermione saw that the Quidditch tournament, right? Like random, like just, I would walk in and it would be like, and then Professor McGonagall, right? I I would try to be like so calm about it, but it clearly worked for him. Matt, shout out to you, bro, if you're watching this. But I thought that was genius, right? Because now his subconscious has consumed all this Harry Potter. You guys get that? And now his waking life, he's living in Hogwarts. You guys get it? He is actually enveloped his mind, his subconscious mind, with these ideas as he's fallen asleep to them. So The words have drifted him into sleep and into the sleep realms, right? And eventually, throughout his waking life, I mean, he used to zip around the campus, like drink like 5 cups of coffee, I remember, and just zip around, bro. I would see him like teleport from place to place. I swear to you, okay? Now, why am I telling you this? The reason why is because if you have affirmations, an audiobook, such as even this one, the Domination Principle, you can start reprogramming and reprinting the way that your mind was into something that engages you with your natural playfulness, your natural primal essence, your quality. You're not hiding from your desires. You're not under-sexualizing or underselling yourself, okay? You have the right level of enthusiasm, proper communication skills, so that you can handle the energy of another, okay? So this is what we're tapping into, so let's get started right away. Get a pen, get some notes, get some snacks if you want. Let's dive in, okay? This is going to be a good one. So, if you really think about it, if you're in the flow state in a conversation with somebody else, time slows down for you, and nothing else matters but that conversation between you and them. So the environment fades away, sounds fade away, time stands still. You're in this kind of liminal space together where you and her are in a kind of a bubble, a social bubble in that environment. And then there's everything else, right? This happens when you're really, really tapped in, okay? Everything else shall fade away but you and your target. Everything else shall fade away besides you and this other person, okay? The one that you're attracting. So this level of magnetism or social RIZZ, to be able to understand that I am me, only me, and nobody else. She's her, only her, and nobody else. Together, our frequencies combine to create a third experience, okay? A third entity that is looking at both of you. So that's how I think about it. Is like, I'm in the physical space, I'm creating a dynamic where there's flow state, and then there's like this vortex or the social bubble around both of us in the environment, okay? And what this allows you to do is also feel that, let's say she's in a group of people, it allows you to understand that if you want your bubble of charisma or sensuality to grow in that moment, that intimacy, you have to isolate her, right? You have to bring her away from her friends. You have to be like, can I borrow her for a few minutes? Or like, hey, I'll bring her back real quick. I just want to tell her something in private. Or you could say something like, are you cool that me and my friend are like, are you cool with me and your friend getting to know each other? Like, and you get approval from the friend, and then you can use. So it's always about looking for the social pattern that is already there in the social environment. Okay. So whatever social pattern is at play there, let's say that people are going out into the restroom, you can use that as a storyline or a gambit, right? Let's say that the DJ is a little bit late, you can use that as a storyline and a gambit. You can use anything around you that has a social storyline or a theme and allow it to add and amplify to your fun. Okay, so this is really what I want you to understand first and foremost. Okay, now in the book itself, I love the way that he gives descriptions for each of our body parts. Hold on, I'm going to blow my nose. Excuse me. Spiritual teacher blowing his nose is kind of weird, huh? I'm in my human body, nevertheless. So here we go. Okay, human body. Welcome to the call. So he says that your eyes are a device. Your eyes are a device for projecting sexual tension. Think about this. You're a Terminator right now. Okay? Your occipital lobe or whatever, right? Into your eyes is a device for projecting sexual tension. Next, your mouth. What is your mouth? Your mouth is a weapon for disarming your target's resistance. This is a disarmer of resistance. Your speech, your words. You see? Your communication makes you guys connect. Your communication is the thing that lets you flow into her. Okay? So really start to understand this, guys. So eyes, sexual tension devices, projectors, okay? Mouth, weapon for disarming your target's resistance. Body, what is the body? The body is an instrument through which sexuality is expressed and made contagious. In which sexuality is expressed and made contagious. Okay? You remind me of my friends Rishab and Navneet. Great. Fantastic guys, I'm sure. So, thank you. So, understand this, guys. We have a biological drive to fuck, right? You were built to dominate this planet, and yet here you are complaining over, spilt milk, as the saying goes. So what happened with our species? This is the real question that this book is delving into, because society programs men to become sexual failures. This is what we're seeing. And we have to reprogram, okay, this understanding to be able to thrive in an SMB, okay? In a sexual market with value, okay? So the more profitable you are to the forces of the economy, the more you're kind of struggling with this. You guys get this? If you're like, I'm bad with this, I can't talk to people, I'm not good at that, I can't do that, I'm not able to, you fill your head with doubt and lack, then it fuels the economy. Because anybody in that desperate, vulnerable state, you can buy any product, you can do anything, right? You're easily manipulated in that state. And of course, if you're intuitive enough, you can sense commission breath on any salesman, okay? You got to get rid of that extra thing that you're doing to try to impress her. You guys get that? That's the salesman tactic that gets sniffed out quickly. But if we understand, why would they fill our media, right? And give me a thumbs up on this, all of this stuff. Fill the media with thousands of 18 to 25-year-olds, right? And then tell you to stay in your league, right? Be with only, fat, ugly women who are no longer fertile. You know what I mean? How about a big fat fuck you to that, right? Actually. Why would you confuse somebody's mind like that, right? With advertisements of over-sexualized themes and then tell you it's shameful, it's bad, don't do that. Can you imagine the mental gymnastics a person would have to do in order to face this? And yes, crocodile, bro. Shout out to Uncle Makara, okay? Which is this is just me in another life, bro, okay? I truly believe that. I believe I was connected to this Varuna Makara lineage in some way. I don't know how, but it's come up too much for me to just ignore, okay? It's just one of those weird synchronicity things that I've just ran with, and it's been doing me massive favors. So, Jay Guru Dev, understand that, all my energy goes back to source, bro. All my energy goes back to spirit. All my inspiration goes back to spirit. Again, I'm not taking any credit. I'm not like a false prophet, right? It's all just energy flowing through me, bro, honestly. That's it. You got to understand that. One way is you're so energetically how would I say this? Constricted, right? Energetically constricted rather than what? Energetically expansive. Like there's possibility. Okay, hold on. Turn this off. Okay. So, okay, let's call out all of the nonsense beliefs first and foremost, okay? And I want you to really sit with me and feel these statements with me, okay? Because I want to release them too. I'm tired of this bullshit. I want to go out and start approaching women again. I want to start being social and friendly again, right? In a consistent way. I'm not saying I haven't done that in the past, but now I want to do it in a consistent pattern over and over again until my brain understands this is your norm. Okay? This is your reality. You're going through the fire of transformation in that venue. Okay? This is important. So make it a priority first and foremost. I want to get better at this, right? Boom. There you go. Now you're tapped into something. You're tapped into the energy of all the people in the past who knew about this too. Because if somebody in your great-great-great-great-grandfathers could mate, you probably can too. You have the genetic code, but there's all this wiring that isn't serving you anymore. Okay? All this unhelpful wiring that is not serving you any longer. So, men are taught what? Okay, masturbating is healthy and good for you. You know? Why don't you keep destroying your sex drive? Okay? And keep making yourself feel more ashamed. Okay? Keep doing it. It's what society wants for you. Okay? Biggest lies. Okay? Then men are taught to feel weak and pathetic about just being a man, right? Therefore, also rape emerges if they're feeling sexually frustrated. Think about this. So we have sex is bad. Girls don't like sex. Girls think boys like you are gross and disgusting. Expressing yourself is creepy. Looking at a girl in the eye is rude. Touching a girl is sexual assault. Talking to a woman means you're a perv. Marriage is the only legitimate way to have sex. Do you see? This is like a promulgation system, right? Just a barrage of like, right? It's going to swallow you up if you don't take control of your own thoughts in this moment. If you don't attach yourself to the feelings, right? An inappropriate attention to the feelings, make yourself feel more familiar with it, right? So it keeps repurposing itself. This is like how the algorithm works, right? On YouTube and so forth. You watch one video, you clicked it once, and now it's in the stream. So be careful what you're consuming, my friends, okay? Okay, so marriage is the only legitimate way to have sex. Sex equals unwanted disease, pregnancy, male oppression, you know? Sex equals rape. I mean, this can go on, guys. This is insane, but really think about this. This is the world that we're currently living in and we're brought up in. So the question to me in the beginning of this journey was, am I willing to look embarrassed, stupid, foolish, awkward, humiliated? Am I willing to let my ego get crushed down to this level where I can repurpose it and recreate myself in that specific moment if I need to, if I ever need to, okay? So the more specific your statements of desire are, the more effective. You've got to have a raw sincerity behind what you are saying, okay? So if you really are turned on and attracted by her, you find a way to communicate that. You could be talking about McDonald's, the weather, you know, going to the gym, whatever. Something very mundane, but it could have this sexual tension behind it. It could have this playful leadership. It could have this older brother, I'm just a touchy-feely kind of guy, right? Vibe to it. So you never treat a woman like a man, okay? It's a massive insult to her. Really, it is. Okay, she wants to feel feminine. She wants to feel free. And you can't put a butterfly in a jar, man, you know? So, I mean, start by just going up and introducing yourself, you know? And a lot of people say, you have to introduce yourself later. You have to do this, blah, blah. Man, just practice this. This is important. Like, if you were in a movie right now and you were like, I'm going to improve my character based on this character, this movie, how would he behave in this charismatic way? Right? How would he behave in this particular pattern? How do you see yourself doing it in your mind's eye? Okay, exaggerate it and then bring it down. Exaggerate it and then bring it down. Do this exercise where you're taking the concept of you, you're blowing it out of proportion, and then you're bringing it back down into its very minuscule self again. So you're right. So hi, I'm blank. Who the hell are you? Okay, fun, playful, polarizing. Certain, empathetic, and it's just a journey. It's a storyline that you're writing together. Okay, those are the laws of this thing and the way that I've understood this book. So once you open the arena, right, you open for this understanding that, okay, there's a conversation happening, right? There's a back and forth. There's a tennis match that I've just challenged this person to, okay? This verbal tennis match. So, hi, who the hell are you? It's a challenge, right? And it's interesting because that challenge, that masculine challenge, slowly takes on a compliment or the feminine praise. So it's a great yin and yang, right? As I have understood. This is what the book also recommends, guys. So I'm just going through the book and reestablishing it, each framework. So he does take it far. Like I would say, it's a bit extreme. I don't know how well it would work in a third world country like India. India's game or social rizz is very different. So I've even had to kind of get accustomed to it and struggle with it a little bit. Because my Hindi's good, but it's not excellent. My Bengali's okay, it's fluent, and I speak very fluent English, as you can hear. So yeah, sometimes it's a cultural, barrier type of thing. But I've noticed that mainly you want to get yourself into a sexual state before you approach, guys. This is actually scientifically proven and shown. Oh man, what is the method called? I keep forgetting it. I want to link you guys back to the actual sources if I can. Anyway, join the Adepts program. There I teach you way further. If you're an adept, it's much easier to just, have you follow along with this journey. Okay? So cool. You were so gorgeous that it actually makes me angry. Okay? It's pissing me off, girl. Okay? That's going to kind of put her on the spot. Also, it's like a weird kind of irresistibility fantasy, right? It's like this guy, wow, he really wants me. He can't control himself, huh? He's making all these bold comments about me. Whoa, 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 I'm being put on the spot. I'm being put on. So you have to have this kind of like sexual tension build up, take it away, right? And what Mark or Mike, I guess, says in the book is let the dick guide you, okay? So you allow the consciousness of your horniness and your natural charisma that resides in your balls, right, to guide you through the interaction. So you let your attractiveness, like you're so attracted to her, you let her know that, right, in various ways. And I think this high sexual plus chill is a good, very nice emotional wavelength that you're creating in that environment as well. Because a lot of other people are so caught up and worried about talking about sex, or, they're very uptight, right? Very Puritan, very prudish type of mentality. So this alternating of sincere and sexual vibe, you become funny, you become creative, you become unapologetically you, man. Okay, never explain, never apologize. So really, you understand that you are absolutely bewildered by this experience, and it's incredible the way, if you design it in your mind and you see it going perfectly, even if it's not, if you have this deluded sense of optimism, it's actually going to help you more than, let's just say, you're like, oh man, it didn't go well, you overanalyze, you get butthurt about it, you start complaining about it, you start thinking about it. Now you're spiritually attached to that event. Why? Because you've kept it in your mental world, right? It's all is mind, guys. The first law of mentalism in the Kybalion, all is mind. Okay? You got to bring it back to the mind. And if we're really thinking about domination principle, you're dominating through your mind. Okay? Because all is mind. So if you put yourself in a social environment where maybe you feel like you're being dominated on, right? You're being clustered, you're being put into a spot, you're being threatened, okay, in a dangerous situation. I think this is where we've got to understand the next level of this tech is how to socially disarm using the tongue, as he was saying, right? In the beginning, the mouth is a weapon for disarming the resistance. It's not only, I believe, the target's resistance, but it's also the resistance of other alpha males in that environment who are going to feel very challenged by your presence. Okay, who is this guy? What is he doing here? How does he know her? You know, all these hetero suggestions are going to come flowing your way. So you have to have a very powerful aura and a sense of almost like a protective bubble around you of pure, holy, divine light. Okay, if you can do this and hold this visualization as you're speaking, this is my own tech, this is not Mike's tech, it will help you so much, bro. Because think about it, if you think about really positive, successful people, you'll start to take on those traits, right? If you start thinking about negative people and start worrying about them, you'll take on their traits, right? If you start to resent somebody, you're putting energy into them. Think about it. So you're actually creating an egregore of them. You're creating an energetic substructure for them. So beware, okay? Be conscious. Make your life a limitless meditation where you're living through this meditation, okay? You're understanding how to live through this meditation. One thing that I want to say is we as Primal Sutra, we take a stand against fluffy self-help advice, okay? We as Primal Sutra take a huge quantum leap against fluffy self-help, shelf-help advice, okay? Because it's just these simplistic platitudes and mind-numbing sound bites that are completely useless, right? Think about any self-help like quotation page. I mean, take anything like that, right? They're packaged in such a way that it's reassuring, it's comforting, you know, it's insightful. But these people are preceding meaning in a sentence that doesn't make sense, okay? They're finding nonsense in the sense. And so are we saying that the masses are very stupid? Is that what we're saying? Well, why are they dumbed down so much? Think about it. Easily packaged, easily replicable, right? So it gets into people's heads. Okay? Now, I have nothing against making things very simple. I do believe in that. I have this understanding that, if you can boil something down to its essence, and that's what Primal Sutra also stands for, technically, because, we're going back to our origin point, back to primal again, back to, our caveman essence, which we have cut away from ourselves. We've been like, that's not me. I can't access that. I'm not strong. I'm weak. I'm this. I'm that, right? I'm overweight. And you start complaining. Okay? And let me tell you, it goes into a very emotional space. A lot of women complain about this, right? Because the emotions are so overwhelming. You see? You see, the feminine energy is actually very, very strong and powerful, guys. We have to understand this. However, her strength is in the emotions. Our strength might be just in our logic or just, the solar logos, as you'd say. But I think, honestly, thinking about it wisely, we're like playing this infinite adventure with ourselves, right? And it's like a split version of ourselves in a feminine form that we're really loving. Right? We're seeing a mirror into this other side, in this other world. Because she's going based off our energy. You'll notice this in a relationship, guys. If you're confused, she's 10 times confused. If you're really sad, she's going to be affected by that sadness. 10x, okay? So you lead by example. You lead by example by showing her you can be emotionally responsible. You can be positive and cheer yourself up and others up, right? You have this charismatic intent, and it's coming from this place of service, right, guys? So I'm not splitting into these various versions. I understand that if I'm splitting into 3 versions of me, it's just solid, liquid, and gas, right, guys? It's the same thing with the Trinity. The Trinity is still one. The I and the Father are one. What does that mean, right? Okay. To me, I interpret that as Jesus is God, you know. But I don't know how somebody else would take that, you know. You take that to mean something else. Because in another section, you see in the Bible, I and the Father are one, or we will be one. Okay, so it gives people the possibility that they can do it too. Okay, so really understand, guys, this is all deeper layer stuff that's coming up. Obviously, we're just riffing right now with the RIZZ. We're just riffing the RIZZ, man. Okay, where did this, by the way, if you Gen Z people, let me know, like, where did the skibbity dibbity, okay, Ohio RIZZ stuff come from, right? Where did this, where do those memes come from? I'm really curious because it's fascinating how culture is changing, you know? Anyway, guys, let's get it. Upward Spiral. We might have Plasma Born on a future Savage Shaman podcast. I think his name was his name Justin? I'll have to double check that. But yeah, man, we'll have him on the podcast, hopefully. Let's manifest it together. So give this video a thumbs up if you want to see that. That's going to be epic. Plasma Born 369, man. Let's call it out for what it is, and let's have him on there, man. Epic. Let's get it. Upward Spiral gang. May we never be the same again. Take care of yourselves, us. Gang.